Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here. So now that we've covered all the 4-star Lightcones in the previous video, some of you actually correctly mentioned that there are good 3-star Lightcones to keep a lookout for, and that's what this video is for. It made no sense to put the 3-star Lightcones with the 4-star Lightcones, but here it is, and I'll be sharing with you why some of them might actually be useful, and I still use some of them today. Let me just show you my inventory here. Even though I have like so many 4-star Lightcones at Super Imposition 5, I still do have a couple blue ones here. And let's go ahead and talk about them. I'll be explaining to you why you should build them, and maybe also keep them into your account. Don't like further them later on. The first one that everyone talks about without a doubt is Smashing Cogs. The reason why this is so good, first of all, you can get it at S5. You don't care about the base stats here because it makes your character very squishy, but you trade that off with a very, very strong effect of basically giving you free energy regeneration every time you attack or get hit. Your Harmony character tends to want to basic attack to help you generate a bit more skill points and might get hit a little bit more often than not, giving you like free energy on the side. This is very, very strong, helps out with a lot of rotations. The reason why like Smashing Cogs isn't like top recommendation out of all, and I actually do think that the new 4-star light cone is actually pretty good. Where is that one? It's a Harmony light cone. We talked about it in our previous video that if you guys haven't checked out, I highly recommend check out. The Smashing Cogs focuses on Harmony characters that want to use their out, whereas characters that you start off with like S-star doesn't care too much about the out as much as maintaining good amounts of uptime on the skill, because that's where a majority of her buff is. Her out is like just to push and speed buff the whole team. So if you think about general players in the whole entire game, Smashing Cogs might not be super good for you unless you start to get Tingyun, Bronye and stuff like that, but still a very, very strong one. If you have it, keep it, don't further it. This is still very, very good, even in 2.0 in 2024 Honkai Star Rail. So that's the first one I want to mention. A far second is Chorus. If you are just starting out the game, you don't have many light cones, this one is pretty strong. It gives you a 12% attack buff to all allies. I actually prefer this one on Esther compared to the other one because Esther doesn't really care too much about energy. I like this one, but it will definitely be very, very quickly replaced once you get enough resources to swap out for the free light cones and stuff like that. So this one is like a super far second Chorus here. And let's talk about a few other ones. It will be super boring if we just talk mainly about the main ones, right? And the next one I want to talk about is actually a light cone called Defense. This light cone went under the radar for a very long time, but it's a preservation light cone which allows your characters like March 7 as well as Fire MC to help solo sustain your entire team. If you are finding it very difficult in the early game to have the HP on your Fire MC because you don't have a second healer in your roster, try Defense. Defense is a very strong light cone. You can take it up to like level 50. That's one of the more efficient stopping points I feel, because you only start needing like 2 or 3 blue resources, and you can get it up to like half the HP requirement, which is like 500 already or something like that. This is very strong. You use your out, basically you burst with Fire MC, which she bursts quite often. You get 30% of your HP back. Same for March 7. This helps keep your character alive. I use Defense a lot when I was first starting out. And it's a very strong light cone, especially if you don't have 2 healers and you're looking for a way to split Natasha on one half, Fire MC on the other half. So that's the second one. Next one that I want to share is Multiplication. This one is a bit good. This one's a good also, but it might be a bit more tricky to use because we start off with a free 4-star one. So you kind of have to so-called downgrade from a purple to a blue to lose that stats, but in exchange for dropping down to the base 4, what you can actually get is action advance forward by 20%. If you are using a character like Lynx, you're using a character like Natasha, they tend to be using their basic attacks very, very often, and if they don't have too much speed, this 20% helps them become even more skill point positive to help you like generate even more. Especially if you have a character like Luota and you don't want to use anything else for some reason, he's basically using his basic attack like non-stop, but he might not want action advance because his passive it clocks on his turn orders and stuff like that. But Multiplication, definitely a worthy choice if you don't have too many Abundance light cones and you are looking for an alternative. I think this one is very strong. The free light cones for Abundance aren't very, very strong either, as we talked about in our previous video. So I think this one is definitely worth considering, as some of you have rightly pointed out as well. I have 2 more for you guys. Or is it, am I at last one already? I think I'm almost at my last one. So the last one here that I want to mention that is not probably what a lot of people is going to be talking about is something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and that is Passkey. My thought process is I want to build a Passkey for an Erudition character that scales off of purely break effect. So you don't care too much about the stats, but every time you use the skill, you have their ultimate back up. This is a very cheap way of like building a burst unit for erudition. For any of you late game players that you are into trying out new builds, consider this. I think it might be a pretty interesting one, especially if you put it on servile. It might be pretty interesting, especially if you can keep bursting with the ultimate to do a lot of break effect. If break effect comes more into the game, maybe passkey can one day come more into meta, but we'll see how that goes. You lose a lot of base stats definitely for sure, but it is what it is. Just an interesting thing that I'll talk about. The rest of them, the reason why 3 stars aren't very good, as mentioned, is they lose a lot of their base stats compared to 4 stars, which are free. You can obtain them from swapping them, as we talked about in our previous video. And a lot of the scaling here, if it's damage or if it's like healing based on a certain HP, you would much rather scale off 4-star stats, 5-star stats than 3-star stats. And yeah, if you found this video helpful, do like and subscribe for more such future content, and check out the other videos that we have on our channel already. We talked a lot about these Lightcones if you find it very, very difficult to navigate all of this, and see you in the next video.